Yes, it's scary and lonely and frightening, and you might not know how you're going to make a living. I didn't. I had a panic disorder for 8 years. I couldn't even drive my car at some points. I had become so dependent on this one relationship. We had become so dependent on each other. We were terrified. We didn't know how to do life without each other. But our souls, both of us, were dying. He had an addiction. My addiction was to rescuing people with addiction. I mean, my patterns were so deep and profound, but I couldn't do it anymore. I knew too much. I wanted my heart's desire, and I remember the day that I got on my knees and I prayed to God, show me the way. There has to be another way. And there is. There's another way. It's through. I heard a great line out of a movie. A child said it. His father asked him a question. He said, what happens when you can't find the way out? He said, well, you go deeper in. And I love that. And that's what this is. Go deeper inside yourself. Go where you're frightened. Sit with it. Be with it. So you don't have to choose a relationship for it. Right? I remember I was so terrified. My anxiety attacks were so bad that at the end of my relationship, I couldn't let go of the relationship because I was too afraid to sleep alone at night. You know? And he was too afraid that he'd never have that feeling sexually with someone again. He was so addicted to what his story was. He'll never have it again, right? He'll never have that again. You know, what if I let go and I never have it again? These are all things that we're gripped with. But we know in our hearts, if we take the road less traveled, we get on our knees, we say a prayer, just like you said, Kimberly, the teacher will appear. God will bring to you what you need. Happens every time. That's a promise that God made. I don't even have to make that promise. It's already out there. Seek first the kingdom of God and you shall have everything. That applies to any religion out there. You know, seek first the kingdom of God, which is your unique, beautiful magnificence, your God self. That is what most of us suffer from. We feel separate. And we think that what ails us is outside of ourselves. And I say no, it's right here inside of you waiting underneath some of the muck. Yep, you got to feel, heal, and deal with that. But then you will be whole. And then from there we choose. And that's the path I've taken. And it's been hard and long and worth every second. Because what I have today, no one can take away from me. No one can ever take that away from me. It's not predicated on me being a good girl, a pretty girl, a thin girl, a sexy girl. None of that. Not anymore. It's yeah. Try though. I'm kidding. It feels so good. We're on the same page, Kimberly. No, I talked about the flashlight, which is an interviewing. You know, there are 14 questions that you just definitely want to ask. Okay, so here, for those of you who, I've read a lot of books, I've done this, I love myself, but I noticed that I sometimes I'm really trusting and I don't know how to exactly ask these questions. And yeah, it can be a little cumbersome and a sensitive issue to ask somebody, how you doing? You got an STD, right? How you doing? Did you just get out of jail? Hey, yo, what's up with you? Have you ever killed anyone? I mean, you know, there's no delicate way in some ways to ask these questions. But I'll tell you what, these are some of the things you want to find out before you have sex with someone. Some of those things are life-threatening. You don't want to find out after you sleep with someone that they've got AIDS, now do you? Of course not. And you wouldn't sleep with anybody if you had AIDS, knowing full well you could infect them. That's what we do out of loving integrity as human beings with each other. So take care and love yourself enough to ask the hard questions. Explore, you know, go get your blood work done. That's what you bring to relationship. I brought my credit report, my insurance record, my clean bill of health. I brought it all, and I expected it all. That wasn't always the case. What I'm asking you to do is ask at minimum these 14 questions, starting with the first one that I love. Are you single and available? You know, sometimes people don't know how to answer that. I'm single, but I'm not available. Look, I just got out of a rough relationship and I'm on the rebound right now. That's a real thing to say to someone. Thank you for letting me know that. Or, you know what? Yes, I'm single, but my wife is sleeping in down the hall. Hello, that's not single. Okay? That is not single. Go to Webster's dictionary. That is specifically you were sleeping in another bedroom and you're still married. Call me when you're single. Or otherwise you're just asking for it unless you've got nothing better to do. Or perhaps you're addicted to the drama and the trauma and that's what love looks like for you. I got it. You can go back and do that unconscious loop. Or here's a great story. I've got an acquaintance that I know, and she was married for 10 years, took a couple years off as a break. One of her customers came in on a regular basis for a whole year, pretty much every day during the week. They talked, they laughed, they flirted mercilessly. She knew this man liked her, she liked him. She thought, okay, I've checked him out. I'm going to ask him to go for coffee. I'm ready to kind of take it to the next level. So she did. She got up her courage. She said, how about you and me have coffee? He blurted out loud, are you crazy? I'm married. Oh, how did she miss that? I hear it all of the time. Women say to me, I can't believe he was married. And I say, I can't believe you didn't ask. You know, people who don't want you to know aren't going to volunteer that information, and you've just met this person. Look, there's one thing giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. There's another just being stupid. It's your responsibility. You know, we've got to ask these things. Find out, and are you available? See if this person has any relationship skills, unless, of course, you want to be the teacher or you like being in control or like people who aren't your equal. That's another little shtick some of us do. We relationship down, I call it. We choose people who aren't as skilled so they're less likely to hurt us, and we always stay in the power position. That's another pattern which we talk about in the book, identifying your patterns. Look, you will know when you have met someone who's your equal, and it's exhilarating to know that someone's whole and complete and brings their A game to the party, right? You know, that's one way to be. So if you want that, this person will not mind if you ask these questions. They will think you care about yourself. They would be surprised if you didn't. They would expect nothing less and think that that's completely normal. And yeah, we might fumble around. You know, asking some of them, like I said, they're not always easy, but it's worth it. You're worth it. So ask, and all the questions are listed in the book with a little bit of a kind of some guidance on how you might couch some of them, how you might broach the subject, things like that.